She was a calculated distraction. I only now realize how well calculated it was.
That is an absurdity. The Queen loves you, as I know you love her.
Your interests no longer align with those of the realm.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a spotlight on Otto Hightower. I've done a number of these videos on various characters based on what we saw in Season 1 and what we can expect when House of the Dragon returns in early summer. I'll link the Season 2 playlist below. Now let's dive in. Otto Hightower is a character that has two similarities with Tywin Lannister. The first is that they both held the title of Hand of the King. The second is that they put their houses first and would do anything to increase the power and position of their families. But after that, the differences are stark. Although both set plots into motion to further their aims, Tywin's abilities far exceeded Otto's. In comparison to Tywin, Otto comes across as a novice, unable to see enough moves ahead, and he's not very adept at devising effective schemes. Otto was very concerned about Daemon and worked to turn Viserys against his brother as often as possible. And to be fair, Daemon's actions sometimes played right into that. The problem was that Otto was so obsessed with Daemon potentially taking the throne that he suggested to Viserys that he make Rhaenyra heir. This was Otto's first mistake. Now, of course, this is before Alicent married Viserys. He had just lost Aemma, but still Otto knew that part of the realm would not be receptive to a queen, and it would weaken the position of the crown and sow potential division. And if he was so worried about Daemon taking power, then slighting him like this by naming Rhaenyra heir isn't a smart call. This has the potential of increasing what he perceives to be a Daemon problem. This is a pattern that will continue, ill-conceived and sometimes rash plans that don't look several moves ahead. After the death of Aemma, Otto pushed his young daughter to comfort Viserys. Otto knows that in his vulnerable condition that Viserys could latch on to Alicent. Actually spending time with her in the Red Keep would put her on the fast track, ahead of anyone else that would come into consideration because Viserys is a cerebral man, and he values connections, and Alicent was able to form a bond with him. This was Otto's greatest success, using his own daughter to marry into the Targaryen family. At this point, his calculus was that eventually Viserys will wear down and choose the male heir Aegon since it's been the tradition. When the king shows no movement in this direction, Otto even gives the awkward and bizarre suggestion of marrying the teenage Rhaenyra to the infant Aegon.
Prince Aegon. The boy just turned 2, Otto. Yes, but it would cease the endless proposals for Rhaenyra's hand.
Nevertheless, some marriage between the two factions made a lot of sense. This is something Rhaenyra was hoping for when she made her offer to Alicent.
My son, Jacaerys, will inherit the Iron Throne after me. I propose we betroth him to your daughter, Helena. Ally ourselves, once and for all. Let them rule together.
At the time, this was something that Alicent opposed, but it's the one clear choice that the Hightowers should have taken. This would have ensured an eventual succession for their house, and Otto should have worked tirelessly to get Alicent to agree since everyone else was on board. A union between Jace and Helena would have averted a civil war and still gotten Otto what he had been working toward for years. It seemed as time passed too that Otto's moves became worse and his strategy more feeble. After having the disgrace of being removed his hand, he didn't return to King's Landing after his reinstatement with a sharper mind or a better approach. Although he could have never anticipated Viserys' throne room walk to upset his attempts to delegitimize Rhaenyra's children, he was foolish to even work with a clown like Vaemon Velaryon to accomplish it. Not only was Corlys still alive, but Rhaenys was in King's Landing as well. He never secured Rhaenys' support in advance, another poor strategic move. He made decisions on the fly without doing the necessary groundwork in advance like Tywin would. What's really crazy, too, is that he's always feared what Daemon might do. Daemon can be impetuous and violent, but Otto still humiliated Daemon's wife in front of him. He's lucky that only Vaemon faced Daemon's wrath that day. Finally, when Viserys died, which was no shocking development considering that he had become a walking corpse, the Greens were still not prepared, nor did they have a semblance of a coherent plan. It's so bad that they couldn't even find Aegon, who was central to usurping the crown. So much for planning in advance. And then Otto comes up with the brilliant idea of killing Rhaenyra. Alicent, of course, has the sense to not go down this path. It's also not as if Daemon and Rhaenyra are sleeping in the Red Keep. They're on the fortress of Dragonstone with 2 dragons, and who's stupid enough to get into a fight with Caraxes? If Otto was smarter, he would have used the intervening years to kill Daemon when he least expected it. Like Tywin's plan for the Starks at the Red Wedding. Instead, Otto just muddled along incompetently. And it even ended up being a stroke of luck that Aemon was able to find his brother and drag him back to his own coronation. Obviously, planning wasn't Otto's strength, and if he hadn't used his own daughter to win over Viserys, then he wouldn't have gotten himself anywhere. Moving forward into Season 2, Otto's going to see even further disasters in the wake of his poorly constructed coup. Aegon is unfit to rule, and the biggest problem is going to be that this self-indulgent and insecure person who's never felt loved is going to drink in the public sudden adulation for him to intoxication. This will embolden Aegon to make his own choices, spurning the advice of more experienced people and further spiraling his rule and the realm into the abyss. In the preview trailer, we heard Otto say this:
Errors were made in the hours following King Viserys' death.
while it would be great for him to see how badly he's messed things up, I remain skeptical of it, thinking this remark is more along the lines of him feeling that they should have taken a harsher approach and tried to kill Daemon and Rhaenyra rather than Alicent's olive branch. Otto, of course, is no Tywin Lannister. He's made so many poor decisions and compounded his mistakes. He's incapable of building alliances and instead resorts to fear to compel people. And he fails to seize clear opportunities that would provide the outcome that he seeks through less costly options. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're interested in more on House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire, listen to Caraxes and subscribe. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.